You said I was going to leave the place or anything. I'll outlive you. I'll bury you. I'll buy your coffin.
That's right, Big Daddy.
Many argue Hollywood peaked in its golden days, but did its biggest stars pack their weight in gold? Between silver screen legends and timeless icons, here are the 15 richest actors in old Hollywood history. Number 15. Barbara Stanwyck. With a net worth of $10 million, Barbara Stanwyck was more than an early Hollywood icon. Her journey to fame in Hollywood was nothing short of remarkable, shaped by resilience, early struggles, and an unwavering determination to succeed against all odds. Born Ruby Catherine Stevens in 1907, she faced adversity early in life. Following her mother Catherine's death in 1911, caused by a drunk passenger pushing her off a moving streetcar, Stanwyck's father, Byron, left 2 weeks after the funeral to join a work crew digging the Panama Canal and never returned, leaving his family behind. With both parents out of the picture, young Barbara was in the care of her older sister Mildred, navigating through multiple foster homes and various odd jobs from a very young age. Despite their hardships, Stanwyck's passion for entertainment burned brightly. At just 15 years old, she embarked on her career as a chorus girl, dancing her way through nightclubs and touring companies, including prestigious engagements with the Ziegfeld Follies. Her talent soon led her to Broadway, where she gained attention and acclaim in productions like The Noose in 1926, solidifying her path towards stardom. Choosing the stage name Barbara Stanwyck, a combination of her mother's maiden name and a place she admired, she ventured into Hollywood in pursuit of her silver screen dreams. Initially, her films struggled to find commercial success, but her talent and versatility quickly distinguished her in the evolving era of pre-code cinema. Films like Ladies of Leisure, Babyface, and The Bitter Tea of General Yen showcased her ability to tackle complex, often daring roles that defied conventional norms. By the mid-1930s, Stanwyck's reputation as a formidable actress was firmly established. Her portrayal in Stella Dallas earned her the first of 5 Academy Award nominations, setting the stage for a career marked by critically acclaimed performances across a wide spectrum of genres. Known for her ability to embody both the dangerous allure of a femme fatale in classics like Double Indemnity and the comedic charm in The Lady Eve, Stanwyck captivated audiences with her emotional depth and authenticity on screen. Throughout the 1940s and 1950s, Stanwyck continued to showcase her versatility and resilience in Hollywood. Whether portraying strong-willed characters in dramas like Ball of Fire and Sorry, Wrong Number, or displaying her comedic prowess alongside leading men such as Gary Cooper and Henry Fonda, she remained a dominant force in the industry. Despite not winning a competitive Oscar, and even being tagged as the best woman to never win the prestigious award, her impact on cinema was undeniable, earning her an honorary Academy Award in 1982 for her lifetime achievements. She was simply a genius. Her best roles involved women who were charismatic, intelligent, and unwavering. It's no surprise that in 1944, she earned $400,000, making her the highest paid woman actor in the world. Today, that figure would have been about $6.8 million. Despite her career declining in the next decade, Stanwyck won 3 Emmys for The Barbara Stanwyck Show, The Big Valley, and The Thorn Birds. She passed away on January 20, 1990 at the age of 82, due to congestive heart failure and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. There was no funeral. Stanwyck made sure of it when she was alive. Following her wishes, she was cremated, and her ashes were scattered over Lone Pine, California, where she filmed numerous westerns.
A chance the prophet could not have told me, I being I.
Number 14. Laurence Olivier. Born in May 1907, Laurence Olivier wasn't just one of the most towering figures of the British stage and screen. He was widely regarded as the greatest English-speaking actor of the 20th century. Famous for his memorable roles in modern classics such as Wuthering Heights and Marathon Man, along with his definitive performances of Shakespearean characters on stage and television, he featured in more than 120 theatrical productions, 15 television shows, and nearly 60 films. He received 12 Academy Award nominations as an actor, director, and producer, and won 2 special Oscars. But while you might be fooled to think the icon was born with the industry in his palms, his walk to fame proved otherwise. As the son of an Anglican minister, Olivier's family had no theatrical connections. At the age of 9, he made his theatrical debut as Brutus in Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, before acting the female lead role in The Taming of the Shrew at Oxford's St. Edward's School. But while his early stage appearances didn't go unnoticed, Olivier initially hoped to work on a rubber plantation like his brother, despite the encouragement from the theatrical notables of the era to embark on a stage career. Thankfully, his father wasn't having any of it. He demanded that Olivier take the opportunity given to him. He had a pretty rocky start, though. After being signed by Hollywood's RKO Radio Pictures in 1931, he struggled to make a significant impact. His potential breakthrough in Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's 1933 Queen Christina was thwarted when Greta Garbo, the star, preferred her former lover John Gilbert over Olivier as her leading man. Worse, he was often compared to other famous actors like John Gielgud and Ralph Richardson. But instead of letting his initial failures dictate his career, he expanded his acting repertoire by taking on challenging classical roles. Additionally, he opted to take on character roles that allowed him to conceal what he perceived as his weaknesses behind elaborate makeup and prop beards. By gaining more confidence, he acted with more freedom, further endearing audiences to him. His performance as the troubled Heathcliff in 1939's Wuthering Heights was the stuff of legend. He was so good that everyone had to notice, propelling him to star status. Remember how he transformed some of Shakespeare's most famous characters into motion pictures? He got nominated for Best Director and won his first Academy Award for Best Actor in Hamlet. Sadly, stars can't live forever. After battling with renal disease and cancer for several years, he passed away in his sleep at the age of 82. At the time of his passing, Laurence Olivier's approximate net worth was $20 million, primarily earned from his work in films and television shows. But boy, did he live lavishly. Valued at $9.5 million, his two-story Durham College had 4 bedrooms, a reception room, a garage, and 2 bathrooms. Olivier and Vivien Leigh used it as a romantic retreat. And how about luxury cars? Between 1938 and 1939, Rolls-Royce Derby facility produced the Wraith, a state-of-the-art model of the pre-war era. Laurence Olivier owned one of the most luxurious versions, which was later sold to a museum in Greece by Alexander Andritas, a prominent collector in the 1970s. So you see, Sir Laurence Olivier's journey from modest origins to Hollywood royalty shoes shows that sometimes dreams that seem too grand do come true. Rising from a middle-class upbringing in England, he defied odds to become a revered actor and director, accumulating wealth that mirrored his success on stage and screen. However, not every star's path to wealth follows a rags to riches narrative. Our next actor, for instance, hails from a privileged background, born into a wealthy family linked to the Corning Glass Works. Her upbringing in the affluent suburbs near Buffalo, New York, contrasts sharply with Olivier's self-made journey, reflecting the diverse origins of Hollywood's brightest stars throughout history. Can you guess who she is?
About noon tomorrow. I mean today. Snob.
Number 13. Katherine Hepburn. Ah yes, the icon herself, Katherine Hepburn. Born in May 1907 in Connecticut, Katherine was the second of 6 children. Raised in an environment that valued independence, spirited debate, and physical activity, Hepburn and her siblings were encouraged to think freely and engage in various sports. Hepburn, in particular, developed a passion for golf, further reflecting her tomboyish nature. However, tragedy struck in 1921 when, during a visit to New York with her brother Tom, she discovered that he had hanged himself. This traumatic event deeply affected Hepburn, altering her personality and posing challenges in her academic life. Acting was her only solace. After being accepted into Bryn Mawr College, Hepburn discovered her talent for the stage. She participated in numerous school productions, where her performances earned her significant praise and recognition for her acting abilities. Arriving in Hollywood in the early 1930s, Hepburn's debut in A Bill of Divorcement quickly established her as a star to watch. Despite initial commercial challenges, her portrayal in Morning Glory garnered her the first of 4 Academy Awards, setting a precedent for her future career trajectory. Known for her spirited and unconventional roles, she captivated audiences with her performance in films like Alice Adams, Sylvia Scarlett, and Stage Door, each highlighting her versatility and ability to command the screen. Beyond her on-screen achievements, Hepburn's career was a testament to her unwavering commitment to her craft and her willingness to challenge conventional norms. Whether through her iconic performances, her outspoken demeanor, or her pioneering independence, she left an unmistakable mark on Hollywood and continues to be celebrated as one of the greatest actresses of all time. Alas, it wasn't always buttery smooth. Throughout her career, Katherine Hepburn's journey was characterized by resilience in the face of adversity. Remember her physical tremor in the 80s? This condition made it difficult to work. Plus, not everyone loved the fact that she lived a private life. Unlike many ladies in her era who lived a textbook prima donna lifestyle, she hated the Hollywood publicity machine and sought to go against the social conventions of the time. Katherine Hepburn's only marriage was to businessman Ludlow Ogden Smith from 1928 to 1934. She later had notable relationships with her agent, Leland Hayward, and with business tycoon and aviator Howard Hughes. However, her most significant and enduring relationship was with her screen partner Spencer Tracy, with whom she had a discreet affair spanning many years until his death in 1967. Speaking of which, Katherine's health began to decline in the early 1990s, leading to hospitalization for exhaustion in 1993 and later for pneumonia in 1996. She faced other health issues in subsequent years, including signs of dementia. She died in 2003 from cardiac arrest at the age of 96, with a valuation of $30 million. Wondering who was left with her fortune? It's going to surprise you. In her 1992 will, Katherine Hepburn allocated her estate to employees, family members, and charitable causes. She left $100,000 to her housekeeper, Nora Considine Moore, $50,000 to her accountant, Eric Hansen, and $5,000 to her literary agent, Freya Manston. Cynthia McFadden, an ABC News journalist, also received $10,000 along with furniture and art from Hepburn. Other belongings and memorabilia were distributed among her friends, family, and charity, including a $100,000 inheritance to her nephew and grandniece. But that's not all. In her will, Hepburn also designated $10,000 each to the Actors Fund of America, the Motion Picture and Television Fund, and a church in Maryland. Yep, that's our Katherine, a woman with a golden heart. Number 12. John Wayne. If there was one man who epitomized rugged masculinity and charisma, it had to be John Wayne. And no, I'm not just talking about his acting style. From humble beginnings to becoming one of the hottest icons in Hollywood's golden age, you can say that John Wayne wasn't so far off from being the iconic Caped Crusader, without the bat mask, of course. Raised in California after his family relocated, Wayne's athletic prowess and academic achievements at Glendale Union High School foreshadowed a promising future in sports and law. However, a surfing accident during his college years at the University of Southern California altered his trajectory, leading him away from athletics and towards a career in film. That said, his entry into Hollywood was modest at best. Starting off as a prop boy and extra for director John Ford at Fox Film Corporation, he had to work overtime to prove his worth. Despite early struggles in being typecast in low-budget westerns, his breakthrough came with Ford's 1939 film Stagecoach. The success of this western masterpiece catapulted Wayne to stardom, defining his career and paving the way for numerous collaborations with Ford over the next 2 decades. During World War II, Wayne's contribution extended beyond the screen. Although exempt from military service, he toured with the USO, visiting American troops in the South Pacific and providing moral-boosting entertainment during the war. His service also involved discreet assessments for the Office of Strategic Services, reflecting his deep patriotism and commitment to his country. Throughout his illustrious career, Wayne starred in over 170 films, primarily westerns but also spanning various genres. He made a habit of portraying rugged heroes with stoic resolve, embodying the values of courage, determination, and honor that resonated deeply with American audiences. Wait a minute, he embodied the whole nation. His performances in classics like True Grit, The Searchers, and Rio Bravo solidified his status as a cultural icon and a symbol of the American frontier spirit. He was head and shoulders above the rest. Beyond acting, Wayne ventured into directing and producing, demonstrating his multifaceted talent and influence in shaping cinematic narratives. His directorial efforts in films like The Alamo and The Green Berets were brilliant and gained critical acclaim. But don't take this to mean Mr. Wayne was one hunk of perfection. He had unpopular political views and fell into a couple of controversies for his super stoic masculinity. Yet Wayne remains one of the most important figures in film history, posthumously honored with the Congressional Gold Medal and the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his contributions to American cinema and culture. 2 years after his death from stomach cancer in 1979, the American Film Institute ranked him 13th among the greatest male screen legends of all time. At the time of his death, he was believed to have a net worth of $50 million. But before you dare raise your brows in disapproval, do you know he had a single estate worth $7 million at the time of his passing in 1979? Adjusted to contemporary standards and inflation, that figure would be north of $25 million. He earned $100,000 annually from investments and royalties, equivalent to about $350,000 today. Plus, Wayne invested and owned several properties in Arizona, Newport Harbor, and on the Puget Sound in Washington. Not bad for a man who came from humble beginnings, right?
I have heard so much about you.
Yeah, but you can't prove it.
Number 11, Mae West. Born in August 1893 in Brooklyn, New York, Mae West was kind of a star right from the get-go. When she was just 5 years old, she entertained crowds at church functions before going on to perform in amateur shows. At 14, she was already dominating her local scene, winning prizes at local talent shows. Going by the stage name Baby Mae, in the early days of her career, West finally made her Broadway debut in the revue A la Broadway. But despite being only 18, she earned widespread acclaim. Even platforms as big as the New York Times were raving all over her. Alas, Mae West's early career was marked by a bold and provocative approach that challenged the societal norms of the time. You see, in 1918, she gained attention in the revue Sometime, with her image gracing the sheet music for Everybody Shimmies Now. As a playwright under the pseudonym Jane Mast, West courted controversy with risque works like Sex, which she wrote, directed, produced, and starred in. Her uncompromising stance on free expression led to legal trouble when religious groups targeted her play, resulting in West's arrest and a brief stint in jail rather than paying a fine, a move calculated to maximize publicity. Undeterred by the backlash, West continued to push boundaries on Broadway with plays like The Wicked Age, Diamond Lil, The Pleasure Man, and The Constant Sinner during the late 1920s and early 1930s. Her fearless approach to exploring taboo subjects on stage made her one of the most notorious figures in Hollywood at the time. But hey, there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? By the mid-1930s, she was indisputably the highest-paid actress globally and among the highest earners in the United States. In fact, a congressional report stated Mae West earned $480,000 in 1935, and that's over $10 million today after adjusting for inflation. Can you believe it? The only person in the U.S. who earned more that year was newspaper magnate William Randolph Hearst, with $500,000. At the peak of her career, Mae West's net worth was north of $3 million, over $60 million in today's dollars. So in a way, her crazy antics did a lot of good for her. That said, Mae West soon became a victim of censorship in the film industry. Frustrated by years of it, she didn't return to movies until 1970 with Myra Breckinridge, followed by her final film, 1978's Sextet, based on her play of the same name. 2 years later, she tripped while getting out of bed and, as funny as it sounds, lost the ability to speak. She also suffered from a stroke before passing away that same year at the age of 87. But hey, remember when I said her net worth was estimated at $60 million? Aren't you curious about how she made so much money? I mean, sure, she was the highest paid actress globally, but come on, you didn't think it was all from her, right? Besides her income from acting and singing, Mae West also received royalties from her plays, films, and books. These diverse revenue sources continued to bolster her net worth even after her passing. Plus, she was also a successful businesswoman who loved throwing her weight into real estate. She owned multiple properties in Los Angeles and New York, including a lavish apartment in Ravenswood, renowned as one of Hollywood's most esteemed residential buildings. Though most of her real estate was willed to her sister, Beverly Arden, who also pursued a stage career, the value of the properties appreciated as time went by.
Happy for no reason.
Let's go for a sleigh ride.
I can't now.
Oh, why not?
Ambassadors, treaties, councils.
How boring.
Number 10, Greta Garbo. Coming in at number 10, we have the almost surreal Swedish-American actress whose net worth of $32 million at the time of her death in 1990 and $70 million in today's dollars easily makes her one of the richest actors in old Hollywood. Criminally underrated by many, her portrayal of tragic characters was one to behold. It is only fitting that she is considered one of the greatest female stars of classic Hollywood cinema. But how exactly was her walk to fame? Born in 1905 in Stockholm, Sweden, Garbo came from humble beginnings. Raised in a working-class district with her siblings, she faced early hardships, including the loss of her father when she was just 14. Thankfully, not even that was enough to deter Garbo's interest in the arts. Rather, it blossomed during her youth, and she found herself drawn to the world of theater, participating in plays at local venues like the Mooseback Theater. Call it a stroke of luck if you will, but her journey into the spotlight actually began unexpectedly. You see, she was discovered while modeling hats at a department store. Impressed by figureheads, she was then given roles in film commercials. By 1922, she caught the eye of director Eric Petschler, marking her debut in the short comedy Peter the Tramp, and it all went up from there. Her talent and dedication led her to further her training at the prestigious Royal Dramatic Training Academy in Stockholm, setting the stage for her breakthrough role in Marit Stiller's The Saga of Gösta Berling. Stiller became her mentor and collaborator, guiding her career and preparing her for international success. And guess what? Their sublime partnership caught the attention of Louis B. Mayer from MGM, who recognized Garbo's potential despite her limited English. In 1925, Garbo had a pass to Hollywood, navigating her way without immediate contact from MGM until Irving Thalberg, MGM's production boss, saw her screen test and recognized her raw talent. Garbo's Hollywood career ignited with her film debut Torrent in 1926, setting the pace for The Tempest 2 years later, although Stiller's departure from the latter due to conflicts brought its own challenges. Despite setbacks, however, Garbo's performances were met with critical acclaim, propelling her to stardom and solidifying her status as one of the household favorites in silent cinema. As the industry transitioned to sound, Garbo seamlessly adapted, earning accolades for her performances in films like Anna Christie, Mata Hari, and Grand Hotel, the latter two becoming MGM's highest-grossing films of their respective years. Despite having immense success, Garbo chose to retire from acting at the age of 35, opting for a private life focused on art collecting and investing. Her decision to withdraw from the public eye mirrored her elusive persona, further enhancing her mystique and leaving a lasting imprint on Hollywood's golden era. She remained unmarried throughout her life and sadly passed away in 1990 at the age of 84, leaving behind a legacy defined by her cinematic achievements, unparalleled beauty, and the timeless allure that continues to captivate audiences and inspire filmmakers today. Number 9. Audrey Hepburn. Now I know you're probably thinking, another Hepburn? While many assume Audrey Hepburn and Katherine Hepburn are related due to their shared last names, it's purely coincidental. They were never related. The only similarity, I guess, is that they were both quite wealthy. Born Audrey Catherine Ruston on May 4, 1929 in Brussels, Belgium, to a Dutch noblewoman and a British father, Hepburn's early years were marked by the privilege of an aristocratic upbringing and fluency in multiple languages. However, the onset of World War II disrupted her idyllic life, forcing her family to confront the harsh realities of the German occupation and face hardships that would eventually shape her character. But before that, it got pretty bad. Her uncle got executed for resistance activities, and Hepburn herself struggled with malnutrition during the Dutch famine. This would have been enough for anyone to fall out of love with the good life, but the innocent child stood tall and strong. Despite all the challenges she faced, her passion for dance and acting remained steadfast. After the war, she continued her ballet training in Amsterdam and embarked on a career in entertainment, initially in the realms of modeling and stage productions. Hepburn's breakthrough came in 1953 with Roman Holiday, where she enchanted audiences as Princess Anne alongside Gregory Peck. Her luminous performance earned her an Academy Award, a BAFTA, and a Golden Globe, a rare triple crown for a debut leading role. This success catapulted Hepburn to stardom and secured her a prominent place in Hollywood, before following up her game with critically acclaimed performances in Sabrina, War and Peace, and Funny Face, showcasing her versatility and magnetic screen presence. Throughout the 1960s, Hepburn's career continued to flourish with iconic roles such as Holly Golightly in Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961, for which she received another Oscar nomination. But if there's one thing I loved most about her, it's the fact that she exuded elegance beyond the silver screens. And who could forget her impeccable fashion sense? Synonymous with timeless glamour and sophistication, she soon became a fashion icon. But apart from being recognized as one of the greatest female screen legends of Hollywood's golden age, she was also globally famous for her humanitarian work. After retiring from Hollywood in the late 1960s, Hepburn dedicated herself to philanthropy, traveling extensively to support children in need around the world. Her commitment earned her the Presidential Medal of Freedom and UNICEF's highest honor, the Audrey Hepburn Humanitarian Award. At the time of her death in 1993, at the age of 63, her net worth was $55 million, the same as $100 million today after adjusting for inflation. In 1999, the American Film Institute ranked her third among the greatest female stars of all time. Speaking of all-time actors, here's another name you fondly remember. Number 8. George Randolph Scott. Renowned as a Western hero, George Randolph Scott also appeared in a wide range of genres of films, amassing over 100 acting credits during his career and becoming one of the industry's leading figures. Born into privilege in Charlotte, North Carolina on January 23, 1898, Scott initially pursued a career in engineering after graduating from the University of North Carolina with a degree in textile engineering and manufacturing. However, his life took a dramatic turn when an injury sidelined his football ambitions, leading him to explore acting. This decision eventually brought him to California, where he crossed paths with Howard Hughes, who facilitated an audition for him in Cecil B. DeMille's 1929 Dynamite, though the role went to Joel McCrea instead. Despite this initial setback, Paramount scouts noticed Scott's talent and charisma, offering him a contract. During this period, he struck up a notable friendship with another Paramount contract player, Cary Grant. In any case, Scott's early career was marked by roles in comedies, dramas, and occasional adventures, portraying affable and easygoing characters. However, it was in the late 1940s when Scott shifted his focus to westerns that he found his greatest success and cemented his legacy. His screen persona evolved into that of a stoic, craggy, and uncompromising figure, embodying the archetype of the rugged Western hero. His roles in Western not only made him one of the top box office stars of the 1950s, but also positioned him as a critical figure in the genre's artistic evolution, especially noted for his collaborations with director Bud Boetticher. Beyond his acting career, however, Randolph Scott was renowned for his financial acumen. He made astute investments in real estate, oil, gas, and stocks, which allowed him to amass a fortune. By the time of his death in 1987, Scott was valued at $100 million, leaving behind a legacy not only as a Hollywood star but also as a savvy businessman. In his later years, Scott preferred a quiet life away from the spotlight, enjoying activities like golf while deliberately avoiding involvement in film industry affairs and publicity. He was survived by his second wife, Patricia Stillman, and his two adopted children, Christopher and Sandra. Randolph Scott remains buried in his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, remembered for his contributions to cinema and his remarkable financial success outside of acting.
You go back to that dame, and it's suicide. Suicide for both of you.
Number 7. Edward G. Robinson. Up next is none other than Edward G. Robinson, the famous Romanian-American actor who also had a net worth equal to $100 million at the time of his death after adjusting for inflation. Born in 1893 in Romania, Robinson started small and humble in New York's Lower East Side before becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces and voices. But hey, it's his journey to stardom that's worth every penny. Initially drawn to a career in law or the clergy, Robinson discovered his passion for acting while studying at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts on a scholarship in 1911. His linguistic skills, honed from an early age, enabled him to secure multilingual roles on Broadway, establishing himself as a versatile and dynamic performer. In 1931, Robinson's breakthrough came with his portrayal of the ruthless gangster Enrico Bandello in Little Caesar, a role that not only set his career ablaze, but also set the tone for Warner Brothers' dominance in gangster films of the 1930s and 40s. In that era, he became synonymous with gritty, no-nonsense characters in a series of Warner Brothers gangster films, cementing his place in the annals of classic American cinema. After being typecast for his amazing performances, Robinson had only one option: be versatile or go bust, and you can bet he chose the former. Shining in roles that ranged from crime dramas like 2 Seconds to comedic turns in The Whole Town's Talking, where he displayed a remarkable flair for understated humor, his career finally had that spark again. However, in the 1950s, Robinson encountered challenges, both personal and professional. He testified before the House Committee on Un-American Activities and faced financial difficulties that led him to sell off a significant part of his art collection. He also lost half the collection in a 1956 divorce, though he was eventually able to buy back most of it. Despite these setbacks, he continued to deliver memorable performances in films like The Ten Commandments and The Cincinnati Kid, showcasing that his tough on-screen persona mirrored his real-life resilience. Slowly phasing out of Hollywood, Robinson put more of his time into his deep appreciation for collecting art. By the time he died in 1973 from bladder cancer at the age of 79, he was one of the most famous faces in the industry. Throughout his 50-year career, Robinson appeared in over 100 films and participated in 40 Broadway plays. He was also ranked 24th on the list of greatest male stars of classic America cinema by the American Film Institute. Unlike many actors who sadly fell short of immortalized recognition, Robinson was littered with awards. He was honored with an Honorary Academy Award in 1973 and was commemorated with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for Motion Pictures in 1960, located at 6235 Hollywood Boulevard. Additionally, he received a Screen Actors Guild Lifetime Achievement Award in 1969. Can you guess who's next? Hint: she was a firm advocate against talkies. Number 6. Mary Pickford. Despite being one of the richest actors in old Hollywood, Mary Pickford's life was anything but a bed of roses. Her alcoholic father abandoned the family, leaving her mother to fight hard to fend for the household. She even had to take in boarders to make ends meet. Fortunately, it was through one of these boarders, a theatrical stage manager named Mr. Murphy, that Pickford got her start in acting. She began performing on stage in Toronto and eventually made her Broadway debut in 1905 at the age of 13, quickly establishing herself as a talented actress. Her transition to film began in 1909, when she impressed D.W. Griffith during a screen test for the Biograph Company, leading to a prolific career in silent cinema. Pickford's early roles showcased her versatility and charm, making her a star known as the Biograph Girl. She later moved to work with Carl Laemmle's independent moving pictures company and eventually joined Adolph Zucker's famous Players Film Company, where her popularity soared with films like Tess of the Storm Country, solidifying her as America's sweetheart. In 1919, along with icons like Charlie Chaplin, Douglas Fairbanks, and D.W. Griffith, Mary Pickford co-founded United Artists, giving her unprecedented control over her films and ensuring her legacy as a pioneering female producer in Hollywood. Beyond acting, Pickford was deeply involved in charitable efforts, advocating for causes such as the sale of Liberty bonds during World War I and co-founding the Motion Picture Relief Fund to aid struggling actors. She was also instrumental in founding the Hollywood Studio Club, a dormitory for young women in the film industry, and played a pivotal role in establishing the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in 1927. However, as the silent era gave way to talkies in the late 1920s, Pickford faced challenges adapting to the new medium. Despite winning an Academy Award for Best Actress in 1929 for Coquette, her career began to wane, exacerbated by personal struggles, including the deaths of her mother and siblings, her divorce from Douglas Fairbanks, and her disillusionment with the changing film industry. Sadly, she lost herself to her demons during her retirement. She struggled with alcoholism, became detached from public life, and lived as a recluse in her Pink Fair mansion. She passed away on May 29, 1979 in Santa Monica, California at the age of 87 due to complications from a cerebral hemorrhage. Her death marked the end of an era for silent film legends, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most influential figures in early Hollywood and a trailblazer for women in the film industry. To date, Mary Pickford's contributions to cinema and her humanitarian efforts continue to be celebrated and remembered, including the wealth she amassed. Though reports swing between a net worth of $40 and $50 million, Mary's valuation would have her between $130 and $170 million in today's economy. But before we go into the top 5 richest old Hollywood actors and the crazy wealth they amassed in their lifetimes, why don't you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you stay updated with all our latest content. It'll only take you a second. Number 5. Doris Day. With a soft, melodious voice when speaking and singing, Doris Day had everyone wrapped in her fingers. She was one of the most loved sweethearts in the industry and could do no wrong in the eyes of her audience. Her career began with singing engagements in the 1940s, where she gained recognition for performing with Les Brown's band and delivering hits like Sentimental Journey and My Dreams Are Getting Better All the Time. Her transition to film, almost instantaneous. She made her debut in the 1948 classic Romance on the High Seas, which kicked off a prolific acting career spanning 39 feature films. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Day's wholesome image and melodic voice graced numerous musicals and romantic comedies, solidifying her status as America's sweetheart. Films like Calamity Jane, Pillow Talk, and Please Don't Eat the Daisies endeared her to audiences worldwide, earning her the title of the top-ranked female box office star and a nomination for the Academy Award for her role in Pillow Talk. Her life was perfect. Everything was going in place until calamity struck. You see, while Doris Day enjoyed financial success through her thriving film career, her husband and manager, Martin Melcher, was not managing her finances responsibly. It wasn't until his death in 1968 that Day discovered that he and his business partner had squandered more than $20 million of her earnings. This left her with debts amounting to $500,000 at the time, equivalent to $3.7 million in today's dollars. To mitigate these financial losses, Day's son, Terry Melcher, a successful music executive, stepped in to salvage her estate. He helped her regain control over her assets, including valuable real estate holdings in Malibu, Beverly Hills, and several hotels. Day also made a strategic comeback to television with the Doris Day Show, which not only revived her career, but also stabilized her financial standing. After a decade-long legal battle, Doris eventually won a $27 million judgment against her former business managers, roughly equivalent to $80 million today. However, her managers were financially ruined by then and could not pay most of the judgment. Doris received some compensation from insurance companies, but it fell far short of what she had lost. At the time of her death in 2019, Doris Day's net worth was estimated at $200 million, a testament to her resilience in overcoming financial adversity and securing her financial future through careful management and strategic decisions in her later years. If only her son could manage America's finances.
Lonely Tempson weed, I'm back in the saddle again.
Number 4, Gene Autry. Appearing in more than 90 movies from 1934 to 1953, including Comin' Round the Mountain, Oh Susanna, and Riders in the Sky, Gene Autry was basically the go-to when you wanted a straight-shooting hero. But as remarkable as that sounds, reducing his contributions to just acting seems to understate him. After all, he was also a successful musician, songwriter, singer, and rodeo performer, a true multi-talented individual. Born in 1907 on a ranch in Tioga, Texas, Orvin Grover Gene Autry was the grandson of a Methodist preacher. His dad was a rancher, and it was there he worked until he dropped out of high school. In pursuit of something concrete, he took up a job as a telegraph operator at the St. Louis-San Francisco Railway, until his habit of singing constantly landed him in trouble. You see, Autry spent his breaks at work singing and playing his guitar, which resulted in him losing his job. However, this turned out to be fortunate for the soon-to-be star because it motivated him to pursue a career in music. By 1929, he began performing regularly on a local radio station, and within a year, Columbia Records offered him a contract. Over the next 4 years, he recorded music and worked on the Chicago radio show National Barn Dance. Autry's music career flourished, selling over 100 million records, and guess what? He constantly topped the Billboard country charts, earning the distinction of having the very first certified gold record. After having his fun, Gene Autry decided to spread his wings by venturing into uncharted territory, the unforgiving waters of the film industry. Did he falter, though? Of course not. In fact, it didn't take long for Hollywood to notice Gene Autry's incredible music and penchant for entertaining. In 1934, he made his film debut in Old Santa Fe, where he performed a hit song despite not being the star. Fast forward a few years, and Autry had become the first major movie star to appear regularly on television. But here's the truly fascinating part. Despite having a stellar career in music and film, he did a lot of heroic stuff. He joined the Army Air Corps in 1942 and served for 4 years overseas. During World War II, he ferried fuel, ammunition, and weapons before later touring in the South Pacific with a USO troop. And don't even get me started on his illustrious business career. After retiring from performing in 1956, he went beast mode on his business empire, owning up to 4 radio stations, a Palm Springs hotel, and a plethora of other properties. Did you know that he bought the Anaheim Angels in 1960 and held the baseball team until he sold a portion to Walt Disney? In 1982, Autry sold the KTLA television station for $245 million, the equivalent of $637.5 million today. At the time of his death, his estimated net worth was $320 million, which placed him among the 400 richest Americans. Today, that'll amount to an excess of $1 billion adjusted for inflation. But that's not all. Autry's remarkable achievements include 5 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, making him the only entertainer honored in each category: radio, recording, movies, television, and live performance. He was inducted into prestigious institutions such as the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, the National Cowboy Hall of Fame, and the National Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Additionally, he received the Songwriters Guild Lifetime Achievement Award. He was 91 years old when he passed away in his home. Number 3. Bob Hope. Are you even a fan of Hollywood if you weren't expecting to see him featured on this list? Born in London in 1903, Bob Hope was destined for greatness from an early age. As the 5th of 7 sons to William, a stonemason, and Avis, an opera singer from Wales, Hope's childhood was steeped in a blend of creativity and hard work. Despite immigrating to the United States at an early age, Hope, perhaps ironically named, showed a knack for entertainment, earning money through singing, dancing, and performing comedy at local venues. From there, his talent blossomed into amateur talent contests, where he constantly wowed audiences. Despite initially pursuing boxing and a brief stint in various odd jobs, including as a butcher's assistant and a lineman, Hope's heart was always in show business. In 1925, his break came when he caught the eye of silent film comedian Fatty Arbuckle during a performance. This led to work with a touring troupe and marked the beginning of Hope's rise on the vaudeville circuit. By the late 1920s, he had gained renown for his comedic prowess and dynamic stage presence. Hope's transition to radio in 1934 marked a significant turning point in his career. His sharp wit and charming delivery endeared him to audiences, leading to his first regular series, Woodbury Soap Hour, on NBC Radio in 1937. But perhaps unsurprisingly, Hope signed with Paramount Pictures and quickly became a star as soon as he moved out to Hollywood. His role alongside W.C. Fields in The Big Broadcast of 1938 introduced his signature song, Thanks for the Memory, which became synonymous with his career. However, it was the Road series of films with Bing Crosby and Dorothy Lamour that solidified his status as a Hollywood legend. Spanning 7 films from 1940 to 1962, these comedies showcased Hope's comedic timing and chemistry with his co-stars. Beyond his film success, Hope's versatility extended to television, where he pioneered numerous specials on the NBC network starting in the 1950s. His annual Christmas specials became a beloved tradition, featuring performances of holiday classics like Silver Bells, and often filmed in unconventional locations, including Vietnam during the war years. Wondering why he was so wealthy? Outside of entertainment, Hope's business acumen and investments in real estate contributed to his substantial wealth. In 1983, Forbes listed Hope on the Forbes 400 with an estimated net worth of $200 million, although Hope famously challenged this figure, suggesting a more modest estimation. Would you blame Forbes, though? In Palm Springs, Bob and Dolores owned a 23,366 square foot mansion, designed by renowned architect John Lautner. Money was never a problem. As his career waned in the 1990s due to declining health, Hope continued to make occasional appearances, including a memorable guest spot on The Golden Girls and a personal retrospective on U.S. presidents titled Laughing with the Presidents. At the time of his death in 2003, Bob Hope's legacy extended far beyond entertainment. His estimated net worth of $150 million, equivalent to about $250 million in today's currency, positions him as one of the wealthiest actors in old Hollywood. Number 2. Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, with an estimated net worth of $400 million adjusted for inflation, was not only one of the most iconic actors of his era, but also among the wealthiest. However, it wasn't always that way. Born on April 16, 1889 in South London, Chaplin experienced a tumultuous childhood marked by poverty and family instability. His parents, both music hall entertainers, separated when he was young, leaving Chaplin and his older half-brother Sidney to basically fend for themselves. Despite the challenging circumstances, Chaplin's early exposure to the world of entertainment through his parents' career sparked his interest in performing. At a young age, he joined a clog dancing troupe, the 8 Lancashire Lads, and began touring English music halls. His talent caught the eye of Fred Carno, a renowned comedy impresario, who brought Chaplin into his troupe and eventually sent him on a tour to North America. It was during this tour that Chaplin's unique comedic style and pantomime skills began to flourish, captivating audiences and setting the stage for his future career in film. Thankfully, Chaplin didn't have to wait too long for a breakthrough in the film industry. In 1913, when he joined Max Sennett's Keystone Studios, he made his debut in Kid Auto Races at Venice, introducing audiences to his most iconic character, the Tramp, a lovable yet hapless vagabond with a distinctive bowler hat, cane, and mustache. This character quickly became synonymous with Chaplin and catapulted him to fame in the nascent world of silent cinema. Throughout the 1910s and early 1920s, Chaplin's creative prowess and popularity soared. He transitioned from shorts to feature-length films, gaining unprecedented creative control and financial success. His tenure at Mutual Film Corporation from 1916 to 1917 solidified his status as a cultural phenomenon, with acclaimed works like The Immigrant and Easy Street showcasing his versatility and artistry. As Chaplin matured as an artist, he ventured into more sophisticated narratives and deeper social commentary. Films like The Kid, The Circus, and The Poignant City Lights highlighted his ability to blend comedy with pathos, cementing his reputation as a visionary filmmaker. However, Chaplin's outspoken political views against fascism and totalitarianism during the 1930s and 1940s drew controversy and affected his standing in America. Despite personal and professional challenges, including a high-profile paternity suit in 1943, Chaplin found stability in his personal life through his marriage to Oana Neal in 1943. Despite their significant age difference, he was 54 and she was 18, their union endured, and they raised 8 children together. Chaplin's financial acumen and prolific career ensured his substantial wealth. At the time of his death on December 25, 1977, Chaplin left behind an estate valued at over $100 million to his wife, Oana. He spent his later years in Switzerland, reflecting on his life and career, and was laid to rest in Corsier-sur-Vevey, where he had made his home. Number 1. Elizabeth Taylor. As a stark contrast to Chaplin's coming-of-age story, Elizabeth Rosamond Taylor didn't live a rags-to-riches story. Instead, she grew up blessed and well taken care of by her mother, a stage actress, and her father, an art dealer. Born in 1932 in London, Taylor's family relocated to Los Angeles in 1939 amidst fears of an impending war in Europe. And it was there, at the young age of 9, that Taylor's striking features, violet eyes, and dark lashes caught the attention of industry insiders, leading her to audition for major studios. And as a matter of fact, she was already the most photographed actress in the world at the age of 16. At that point, success in the industry was a mere formality. Signing contracts with both MGM and Universal Pictures by early 1941, Taylor had her breakout role in 1945 with National Velvet, where, at just 12 years old, she captivated audiences with her portrayal of a determined young girl training a horse for England's Grand National race. The film's success catapulted Taylor to stardom and marked the beginning of a prolific career that spanned decades and genres. Throughout her teenage years, Taylor continued to impress with roles in films like Life with Father, A Date with Judy, and Little Women in 1949, showcasing her versatility and unprecedented charm. Transitioning into adulthood, Taylor evolved into a leading lady of remarkable depth and range. She garnered critical acclaim for her performances in films such as 1951's A Place in the Sun, where she starred opposite Montgomery Clift, and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in 1958, earning her multiple Academy Award nominations and establishing herself as a dominant force in Hollywood. Beyond her illustrious career, Taylor's personal life was equally captivating and often tumultuous. Known for her passionate nature, she married 8 times, each union marked by its own drama and headlines. Her first marriage to hotel heir Conrad Nicky Hilton was brief and troubled, followed by a more stable relationship with British actor Michael Wilding. However, it was her third marriage to producer Mike Todd that brought both happiness and tragedy, as Todd's untimely death in a plane crash left Taylor widowed and pregnant. Subsequent marriages to singer Eddie Fisher and her Cleopatra co-star Richard Burton captivated the public imagination, with their turbulent relationships becoming the stuff of legend. In her later years, Taylor faced health challenges including injuries, illnesses, and addiction issues, yet she remained a resilient figure committed to her philanthropic efforts, including advocating for HIV/AIDS research and awareness in the 1980s. She was also able to raise millions of dollars for the cause. Her passing in 2011 marked the end of an era in Hollywood, leaving behind a legacy of cinematic brilliance, humanitarianism, and unwavering passion. But boy, was she rich! Her portrayal of the famous Queen of Egypt, Cleopatra, in the Cleopatra film saw her earn $1 million, the first in Hollywood history. To date, Taylor has left an unmistakable mark in Hollywood. In addition to her Oscars, she was honored with the Presidential Citizens Medal for her philanthropic efforts. She also received prestigious accolades such as the AFI Life Achievement Award, the Cecil B. DeMille Award, an honorary award from the Screen Actors Guild, and was also appointed Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire. It is no surprise why the American Film Institute recognized her as the 7th greatest female screen legend of all time. And that wraps up our exploration of the wealthiest actors in old Hollywood. If you found these stories as fascinating as we did, give it a thumbs up and tell us if there's a name you wish to see included but didn't make the cut. But wait, there's more to discover. Click on the video on your screen now for an even more astonishing revelation about Hollywood's hidden truths. You won't want to miss it.